Hey everyone, I'm Kalebius. Welcome to Talkin Tech, a new show from the ranty minds that bring you soapboxing. In this show, we'll cover anything from the tech and gaming industry, as well as perhaps a review of a game or product here and there. Let's go ahead and start the news of the week off this week with a fight. Silicon Knights and Epic Games, the company that brought you Unreal, have been in and out of court regarding the Unreal Engine. Unreal being the series of games made by Epic Games. There are a lot of games that have been built out on this engine that was developed by Epic Games for this particular Unreal series. Now, with this engine, Silicon Knights has been claiming that Epic did not disclose fully the capabilities or some of the processes of the engine, and that Epic is in fact just funneling the money from the licensing where Epic sold this engine to other developers. They're claiming that they took a little bit or all of that license money and are putting it into into the Gears of War engine that they're currently building and redeveloping off of the Unreal Engine. Epic Games has countersued the Canadian developer Silicon Knights, claiming that they have violated a lot of copyright issues regarding Unreal and the Unreal Engine. And this has been going on, like I said, for the last 5 years, but just earlier this year, a large amount of money, I believe $4.45 million, was awarded to Epic with this lawsuit, part of that being a new judgment, part of that being the countersuit fees that needed to be filed. And the interesting thing that came out just the beginning of this last month is that the courts also decided that they needed to recall and destroy all copies of these two games, those being X-Men Destiny and Too Human. Too Human being a 2008 release and X-Men Destiny being a 2011. All of those games for the Xbox 360, PS3, and the PC. This is interesting news for the Eternal Darkness developer. Eternal Darkness may in fact be their entire fate. They recently had to lay off 75% of their shop. With a small shop, they've gone from 97 employees down to 25. If anybody's worked in a small shop, you know that when you're that small and you've only got that many hands on to do all of the work you've got in-house, it's going to keep your lights on for another couple of months, but probably not much beyond that. But we'll keep you posted on anything that happens with the Silicon Knights and Epic Games battle. Next in this week, Google Fiber news. This new Google Internet service that has been placed out in both Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas, not to be discriminatory to Kansas City folks, was recently actually published at a clocking speed. They advertised that they would approach 1,000 Mbps up and down speeds full-time, period. And everybody's really thought that was going to be a massive, massive, huge stretch. And, you know, it turns out it was. Apparently they only hit 700 full-time Mbps up and down speeds. 700 out of 1,000 doesn't sound so great, but when you consider that the average person with a high-speed cable internet right now is during peak hours getting between 5 and 12, and at off-peak between 10 and 18, depending on how things are going, I'm going to say 700 is not bad, especially when you consider the average price of Comcast standalone internet versus the average price of the, or I shouldn't say the average, the actual price of the Google Gigabit TV and internet package at $120 a month. Yeah, if they can get this out across the country, that would work super well. But I wouldn't necessarily plan on seeing that anytime soon. It's a lot of work to get that one done. The PC gamer side of news this week, some interesting things have come out regarding Sony's PlanetSide 2. They announced in a couple of steps initially that any game mods, something PC gamers are obviously extremely familiar with things like the Curse client out there to help consolidate all of the individual modifications that can be made to a game, whether it be to help you utilize the in-game tools better, or to create tools utilizing information in the games that isn't currently doing anything to help your gameplay experience be better, to help you maximize the numbers of things you're doing. Well, they announced that any PlanetSide 2 mods would be for sure a no-go. They're recommending you use no alternate third-party software of any means. It will result in an immediate ban. It looks like that's supposed to be a permanent ban, as well as a strip of any of your characters or items. They did come back in that second part of the post, though, and state that TeamSpeak, Mumble, Vent, anything from Steam would all be acceptable modification, and they're not just running small third-party applications to try and, boost deeps. Daily Tech reported today that many South Korean children between the ages of 5 and 9 are suffering from a currently unrecognized disease, internet addiction, stating that a lot of these children have been skipping meals at school or forgetting to go to gym class. I find that one kind of funny, because they can't separate themselves from their tablet or their phone or the PCs at school or the laptops they're bringing to school or anything of that nature. Personally, I think South Korean kids are just getting a little sick of seeing the North Korean kids noob stomp on League of Legends and StarCraft 2 all day. They think it's their time to bring something to the fight. Well, I say as long as they get enough food, don't become totally emaciated, maybe bulk up on them Cheetos and energy drinks, you guys got a real shot. You got a real shot. North Korea can't stay on top forever. They've only got their 12-hour-a-day gaming training regiments. This country blows some days. And in the last little bit of news today, we're going to talk about Intel. They are going to, within the next couple of years, they've announced fully across the board, switch the way they are mounting their CPUs to the motherboards. They're going to switch from a land grid array, LGA style, socketable CPU to a ball grid array style that will have it be a permanently mounted piece of hardware on the motherboard. This is in part due to declined PC sales over the last few years. There's a lot of the thing that makes desktop PCs so nice is that they're built in a very modular fashion, in as much as if you want to upgrade one item, you can upgrade one item. If you want to, if one thing is broken, you can replace that one thing pretty fairly well across the board. I mean, you can even strip everything off the motherboard and replace just the motherboard should you see fit. That makes it a lot rougher on the PC sales industry side of things. It's also slightly more expensive to use these socketable mounts on pretty much anything. They're not really the first manufacturing company to start going this route either. Apple on their recent iMacs have started soldering all of the RAM into their machines so that they cannot be upgraded, downgraded, swapped, anything of that nature. You need to get something replaced, you need to replace all of it, or at least take it in somewhere where they can do it, so they at least have that service cost coming back in. Somebody who really likes modularity in my PC builds, it makes me kind of sad, but I can understand why they're doing this too. And in all honesty, they aren't going to, I don't think, start making horrible products that are going to need to be replaced every 2 years. You will want to replace it if you're on the higher end of the gaming or processing spectrum, just to keep up with the specs and the way things are going there, be able to use the newest and most current equipment. It's going to give Intel a lot more control over the motherboard manufacturers too, and at least making sure that there's a lot less hardware compatibility issues, because that is one big thing too. If your motherboards are made by a third party and you haven't checked everything out. You may have compatibility issues down the road. This is a big thing that has caused Dell problems over the last several years. They kind of quit looking at all of the components and how they work together and just decided, well, we like these for cost effectiveness, we're going to put them in. So this actually puts more control side into the company that is developing the processor units, the kind of the heart and soul of the machine. So, this is maybe not a bad move. It's gonna probably be the decline of desktop PCs as we know them and love them now, but maybe this won't be a bad thing. A little bit of money they save should make PC sales considerably cheaper, so it's not as painful to dig in and upgrade every couple of years. And there may even be package offerings with the gamer built in mind. You would kind of think that Intel recognizes that their business is fed a lot off of people that actually just do builds. So I guess that's my question for anybody who cared to watch this today or this week or whenever. What do you think of switching into permanent builds? Think that's going to hurt sales, make the sales better? Does this affect you at all? Do you even care? I know I care, but we're going to wait and see what happens. Anyway, guys, that's all the news I have for you today. Thank you for watching Talking Tech. I am at Kalebius. You can follow me at Facebook and Twitter or on the YouTube. Add the links down below.